They're a proud member of the Duck Theater.
That's right.
Florida Incorporated. All right. Hey, man, listen, thank you again, Howard Harris. We appreciate you.
All right.
And we will make certain that, that you haven't let you know right now. I'm going to let you know right now. You have an open invitation.
All right.
Show.
Yes, sir.
All right?
Yes, sir. All right. God bless.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And take care. Okay, brother?
All right.
All right. Peace. All right, everybody. We're right here at 9 a.m., top of the hour. 9 a.m., we're about to go into our NPR break. We'll be right back on the Sunday Forum. This is your host, Walter L. Smith II, along with the members of the Fourth Estate crew. And we're looking forward to that next hour of this edition of the Sunday Forum.
WMNF Tampa.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Giles Snyder. With tensions rising between the U.S. and Venezuela, President Nicolas Maduro held a rally with his supporters this weekend. Maduro denounced plans for the U.S. to hold military drills that are expected to begin today in Trinidad and Tobago. And he sang part of Imagine, John Lennon's iconic song.
Imagine us people.
On Friday, President Trump suggested that he has made a decision on Venezuela, but he declined to reveal it. Thousands of U.S. troops are stationed off the coast of South America, and the U.S.'s most advanced warship, the Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier, is expected to arrive in the region today. Under the Trump administration, the U.S. military has blown up 20 suspected drug smuggling boats. A total of 80 people are believed to have been killed. The Trump administration's latest surge of federal immigration agents brought out protesters in Charlotte, North Carolina. Nick De La Canal from member station WFAE has more.
Hundreds rallied in uptown Charlotte, demanding Border Patrol leave the city. Hours earlier, agents were seen arresting people across several immigrant corridors. At one East Charlotte car repair, the owner Jessica Arias says agents tackled an employee who tried to run and took him away in a van.
He's one of the best workers here. So the Border Patrol is not here for criminals. They are taking working people.
Some restaurants locked their doors with customers inside. Other businesses closed. In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security said it's surging agents to Charlotte to ensure Americans are safe and to remove public safety threats. For NPR News, I'm Nick De La Canal in Charlotte.
More rain is in the forecast for Southern California, which has already been soaked by an atmospheric river storm. The region remains on alert for the potential for mud and rock slides. According to a new United Nations report, a vast majority of children in Gaza are showing signs of anxiety and aggression after more than 2 years of war. Daily military strikes by Israel continue amid a fragile ceasefire, as NPR's Kat Lonsdorf reports.
The report found that more than 90% of children in Gaza exhibit aggressive behavior or violence. Sadness and withdrawal, as well as disturbed sleep, are also common. The war has led to the collapse of education, health, and social systems, and repeated displacement and trauma have broken down a sense of safety and stability. Children will require sustained long-term care to recover, the report says. Humanitarian organizations, including the UN, have stepped up efforts to address mental health services for children in Gaza, as a fragile ceasefire is holding in its second month. But there is still daily and deadly bombardment by Israel in Gaza, which Israel says is to dismantle infrastructure used by militants. Kat Lonsdorf, NPR News, Tel Aviv.
And you're listening to NPR News. Voters in Chile are choosing a new president and Congress today in a polarized general election. Polls suggest that no candidate will win outright in this first round, prompting a December 14th runoff between the two candidates with the most votes. John Bartlett reports from the capital, Santiago.
It feels like a long time since Chileans voted to make left-wing former student leader Gabriel Boric president in 2022. This electoral cycle has been dominated by fears over public security, illegal immigration, and international organised crime. Two far-right candidates, José Antonio Cast and Johannes Kaiser, have prospered with promises of harsh crackdowns on crime and border security. But polls show that Janet Jara, a Communist Party politician, is likely to win today's first round of voting with her promises to expand the welfare state. The two candidates with the most votes will face off in a runoff election next month, with polls suggesting that would be a divisive showdown between a communist and an ultra-conservative. For NPR News, I'm John Bartlett in Santiago, Chile.
Voters in Ecuador are also going to the polls. They're deciding today whether to once again allow foreign military bases as part of the fight against drug trafficking. Critics cite sovereignty concerns. Today's NFL game in Spain is set to get underway shortly. The Washington Commanders are taking on the Miami Dolphins in a game being played at the home stadium of Real Madrid, one of the most successful soccer teams in the world. The game is the seventh and final overseas game of the season, the most ever for the NFL. I'm Giles Snyder. This is NPR News from Washington.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Storyworth. Each week, Storyworth emails a loved one a question about their life. After a year, Storyworth will publish their stories and color photos into a book to keep for generations. Learn more at Storyworth.com.
You're listening to WMNF Tampa, music and news.
WMNF is more than just 88.5 FM. You can also find us online at WMNF.org. Check out the latest news stories, how to volunteer, future WMNF concerts, stream live or the latest episode of your favorite music shows, and more. And of course, you can always show your support by clicking on the Donate Now button. Explore your community at WMNF.org.
Get ready for a house party with Reverend Billy on Saturday, December 13th. Join WMNF for an intimate afternoon of music, laughter, and community in South Seminole Heights. Enjoy a meet and greet, followed by 2 soulful sets and plenty of good vibes, all to support WMNF 88.5 FM. Don't miss this up-close, personal, and unforgettable living room-style revival. The space is limited. Reserve your seat now at
WMNF.org/events. Tampa Bay, get ready. The Grammy-nominated powerhouse, Southern Avenue, is back. Don't miss this award-winning band live at Skipper's Smokehouse. They blend Memphis soul, modern blues, gospel, and funk into a sound that's completely their own. Fresh off their deeply personal new album, Family, Southern Avenue delivers raw emotional power. Jam-Bass Magazine says they are jaw-dropping and not to be missed. Come dance, sing, and feel every beat. When Southern Avenue plays, you don't just listen. You become part of the family.
There's so much love to go around. So much love around, round.
Southern Avenue, January 21st at Skipper's Smokehouse. Doors at 7, music at 8. Tickets and info at WMNF.org.
What if we told you there is a way for you to spend your Wednesday midday listening to real stories by people like you, individuals who inspire by sharing their lives? Hi, I'm Mario Nunez.
And I'm Joe King Carter. Consider this your personal invitation to join us each week at the intersection of community and culture.
Listen in every Wednesday at noon on WMNF 88.5 or stream live from anywhere in the world at WMNF.org, where previous shows are also available.
Until then, be good to each other and remember
to keep the conversation going.
Right now, you are tuned to the Sunday Forum with Walter L. Smith II and Annie Miles here on WMNF Tampa.
Walter, Whitney.
Miss Annie.
All right. I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
I'm here.
Listen, man. I was enjoying that. Hold on, go back to that. Hold on.
Here I come, baby. I ain't gonna bite you. I just want you to hang on. All right.
And you know what
But I know what he was doing away with your mouth poked out and everything. That's what he was doing, Billy.
What?
He was really poking his lips out and shaking his head.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You know who plays that very well?
Who?
None other than the famous, world famous Marshall 100.
Oh, okay, yeah. Speaking of which,
who else do you think I want to say?
we're back in 1977 right now.
We are. What do you know? Oh my God. We were just stepping on the campus of FAMU. My father had just been named president the year before, and we were moving down from Boston. Oh my God.
So it makes sense that the band would play this song in 1977. It was a hit.
My God. Lord. That's right. Hey, listen, we would welcome you back to the Sunday Forum right here on WMNF 88.5, Tampa, Sarasota, St. Pete, and surrounding areas, the world, actually. And this is your host and the voice of the Tampa Bay area, Walter L. Smith II. And the state crew is in the house. We are about to really dive into it today. Okay?
I have a question when you finish, so this is hilarious.
Oh, gosh. What is it?
No. Go ahead.
Oh, my God.
But Billy's going to like this, though, because I want to know his opinion on it. But go ahead.
Just the way you said that, it's concerning me a little bit. But all right, we're going to go. We're going to So, listen, we have just gone through a special election with the passing of, because of the passing of our city councilwoman, Gwen Henderson. And now we have Nia Young. Listen, she is the first millennial to take office in Tampa. Yeah.
Indeed.
That's the truth. And the first one on this city council. So we're very, very excited about how this is going to go. Very excited, especially for District 5. So let's see how this is going to go. We're rooting for you. Let's go. Let's do it. So we expect to have her on the show very soon. We've already made the phone call. So we're just trying to schedule and get her on the show so that we can talk about what's going on. She's been very busy. I can tell you right now, she's been extremely busy fielding calls and responding to requests and things like that. So we respect her time. We respect the effort that she is putting into this thing so early in her occupancy of this seat. And so she is going to work. All right.
So indeed she should, because she's being watched. Now let me ask you this. Ask you this. Just follow this, because we definitely want to have her on the show, call in the show and everything. But as we always tell our listeners, we want to have those that they put in office and hold them accountable. So just to give a refresher, what do you think her platform was? What platform did she run on? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Based on the things she was saying when she was talking to the people, what was her platform?
Part of it was housing.
And affordability in general, which is the theme of this election, of this year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so affordability and housing, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
So with that being said, knowing as District 5, knowing they've been asking for funds, to improve, their community and so forth, the way they're doing downtown Amish Works and everything, what do you think her main priority should be as her first 90 days in office?
What do I think her main priority is going to be?
Mm-hmm. Or should be. I mean, you don't know what her agenda is, but I'm saying, what do you think it should be?
Well, I think that if you're asking what it should be. So what I think it should be is to make certain that she's making the rounds to the people of the communities that are impacted by this. That's the first thing. And to make certain that she is understanding fully what their plights are. Because every community is different. There are some similarities, but it's very different. But I think that should be one of the first things she does. And
what you think, Billy? Oh, okay.
No, that's okay.
Well, I think that, reaching out, of course, like Walter is saying, is important. But I think you have to connect the dots. You have to start to connect the dots with the people out there who are struggling in this economy. Florida is having some problems with affordability crisis, and the Republicans, whether you're talking Republicans in Florida or Republicans in Congress or Republicans in District 5, they are still in denial. They don't want to talk about affordability. They don't think there's any problems with this economy right now because this guy is their leader is in office and don't want to talk about it. And so we have to make certain that at the grassroots level, such as District 5's office, you have to start connecting these dots, from Head Start to kids not getting food to eat, whether they're in school or at home, people having to make choices on health care, and the Republicans are playing hardball and stonewalling on the issues of health care. So from the local to the state to the national, we have to point out how these policies, especially when you talk about the academic policies, whether you're talking K through 12, they want to threaten you with money if you don't follow their rubric right now, their indoctrination. And so how are you going to threaten them with money in any economic crisis, So, no, we need to make certain that the dots are connected and that the fight is joined from the local to the state to the national. And even the international. So District 5 is important. District 5 is important because those dots are all there to be connected.
And that's why I asked that question, because I agree with you, Walter. Yes, she has to make the rounds. But, again, she made the rounds. That's how she got to where she is now. That's how she got elected. That was the first part. You make the rounds. You make the rounds. You see what the people saying their needs are. You acknowledge what the needs are. And now you come up with a plan on how to address those needs. So that part, to me, she's already done. So now I'm looking for her to go to the next step because you've already done that part. That's how you got here. We told you what our needs were, or they told you what their needs were. So I'm not in District 5, so let me make sure I'm saying this correctly. They told you what their needs were, okay? You told them how you would meet those needs. They believed you, and they put you in office. So now you're there. So now the next step is kind of like expanding to what Billy said, right? So what are you going to do about these policies and stuff that are in place? And if you do get that threat, if you don't follow along with this, we're going to take away that. You understand what I'm saying? So, and again, we all know one person doesn't make the final decision. It has to be a consortium of them agreeing, what have you. But is she going to stand up and fight as opposed to sit down at the table and just, sit there and just let everything go? That's why I was asking that question. And I'm saying that because I want our listeners to know she did that part. She made her rounds. And she's out there still touching base, as Walter said. She's doing it vigilantly, touching base. But now still hold her accountable. Okay, you heard our concern. You heard the need. Now what are you going to do? That's why I was asking that question. So that's what I want to see. Even though I'm not in District 5, again, I always say just because it's not immediately impacting me, it's still impacting me to a certain degree. Because I care about those individuals. We have to care about kids eating. We have to make sure the supermarkets and stuff are back in that area, that they have good, clean food, not expired meat sitting out there waiting to be sold because they're on a discount level. That's why I was asking. That's all.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Your question was for the first thing she should do, and you're right. I think that has been done to a degree, but it hasn't been done completely. There's no way it could have been done completely.
Well, I'm pretty sure that given the fact that we saw that was the field is always crowded in District 5, so we weren't really able to ascertain who the voters were really reaching for. But with the runoff, she won by a landslide, and I'm certain that might have had something to do with the fact that the voters in District 5 wanted to let her carry out her mother's legacy. But yeah, she's going to have to stand on her own in 15 months. She's going to be answering for her own self. And, okay, so I was wrong about that, but because I really thought that she was. But no, I think that, again, being a millennial, you are going to be under pressure. You're going to still be under pressure, just as if it had been her daughter. She's going to be under pressure to answer these questions because people are going to see her as not competent enough or not yet a veteran, enough of a veteran politically to stand up to all of these issues. So, like I said, I'm back to the original. It's going to be pressure for her. So for the next 15 months, she's going to end up still having to answer for herself because, again, she did win in a landslide.
Walter, she was. Didn't you say she was an activist inside the community? That's what made her run. I know it's the first time.
Well, yeah, she was already working, and she's already been working in the community with her family. She comes from a very well-known family here in the Tampa Bay area, the Young Green family, where they have been working at community development and through the nonprofit organization that they have. Heights, it's the Tampa Heights Civic Association. And
I think I've heard of them. Okay, you said Heights. I think I've heard of them.
Right. And so you have her grandmother, who is Lena Young Green, who has done tremendous work in the community. Her father is Owen Young.
Oh, yeah.
Who's done an outstanding job. Their mother has worked very closely with different organizations as well to address environmental issues, food access issues. They have worked on issues dealing with housing and addressed some of these things that are necessary here in Tampa with regard to infrastructure. Right? Probably not as in-depth as some other organizations would have, but they've dealt with it significantly and have formed partnerships along the way. And she's been a key instrument and instrumental in making certain that those collaborations were successful. So it's not like she was never seen or anything like that, or has never been involved in anything before this. Now, what I was saying earlier regarding housing and things, which is what I thought was one of those things that would be very critical and was one of her platform issues, dealing with housing and accessible housing, affordable housing, like literally affordable housing. It is going to be a big part of this. Now, there's no way that in that time period that she was able to get out to everybody out there, all the communities out there, in order to, despite having a landslide victory or anything like that. There's a lot of work to be done. Once you are in office, there's a lot of work to be done still, which is why she's doing what she's doing right now. And I think that one of the things that has to be considered with regard to that is the fact that there's some infrastructural issues that have to be considered when we talk about this. And those issues have everything to do with identifying housing that is currently available, right? Or housing that can be restructured or revamped to be housing that currently it might be abandoned, whatever it might be. What's like that that are not being used and need to be, right? But we have to count those things. We have to look at that. Yeah. Then we have to look at the numbers of people who are homeless, who need housing. There's a lot to be. There's a lot to it. There's neither aspects of it all. That's not everything, but those are aspects of it all, and it's going to take time to do. But the focus has got to be there. The investment has got to be there. And I think that's what she experienced for us, that investment is, and that the effort, not just the effort, but that the programs are going to be in place to actually do these things. And again, the difference is in there to actually do these things. So, like I said, we're rooting for it. We know some of those things that she stood for that were on the platform, and we look forward to seeing what's come. Absolutely.
No. Well, I'm pretty sure. Again, I'm not totally familiar with all of District 5, but the one she was running against, Scott, he had been in office before, and now that you're making note that her family kind of like has their own legacy there, that's probably why she won in the runoff as a landslide. People wanted change, and with change, you have to put somebody new and fresh in the game, and that's what she is. So that's a good thing for District 5.
Absolutely.
That's a good thing.
So
now I'm gonna tell you why I was laughing.
Why are you laughing?
No, I told you I be getting these crazy texts and things, and it was being gone to this man, in office, and now they're like, oh, so now him and Marjorie Greene. You remember how he was so close with Elon Musk, saying that they're gonna be this, and they're gonna do this, and that then it flipped. He's done the same thing with her. Now she's a ranting lunatic, according to him. Yeah. But keep in mind, okay, I'm saying this is dementia. This man is dementia. Keep in mind, some of the main things he used to say about her, I'm going to always be with her and all this kind of stuff. And now she's just a ranting lunatic, So no, he's no longer on her side because she done went to the left. He just never amazes me. It's so humorous. It's just so freaking humorous. As soon as you disagree with him, there's a whole temper tantrum down the line, and now you're trash. And that's what he's doing to her right now. So,
it's called being a belligerent child.
Yeah. That's what it's called, my Billy.
Because, Marjorie Taylor Greene represents poor whites. You know what I'm saying? And they have the same economic issues in this moment. And so that culture war isn't working for them. Doesn't make any sense to even follow behind him in the first place. And she's come up to that reality.
Well, I think that she's come to that reality for these purposes and the people that she's representing now. But there's still other issues that are lingering that she stands for that we are not, that we don't stand for, right? And so, and we've got to make sure that, put it this way, I think this is the best way to put it. We need to observe, and we need to investigate, or they need to investigate, and anybody who's associated with her needs to investigate what it is that she does stand for at this particular point, right? Jasmine Crockett, for instance, of course, has been all down her back. I mean, all down her back.
Yeah, but she's agreed on her. She's admitted to agreeing with her on some things now. I was shocked to see she did.
That's the point.
Agree with
That's truth. That's truth.
That's the point. I mean, now there are things that she's agreeing on because now those things affect her personally.
Right.
Right? Okay. But what about those things that don't affect her personally? That's not been discussed. Nobody knows that. Right? And that has been, but it has been brought up in conversation. And I think that, we ought not to just jump on the bandwagon automatically and say, she's on the side of this.
Now, she still says she loved. Last time I heard, she was on The View, and she said she still loves POTUS. She didn't call him that, but that was before he decided to go on a screed overnight, against her. So we'll see. But I think what we'll really see is whether or not his primary threat against other Republicans is going to work, because that's what his screed was about. Somebody should primary Marjorie, and he doesn't even have anybody in mind. So.
But look, and he was mad about what she said on The View. That's why he called her Wacky Marjorie, because of something she said on The View. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So, there's a lot to be said there. There's a lot to consider in regard to Marjorie Taylor Greene. But when we talk about these issues that are lingering with us, let's go back to something that we were discussing a moment ago, and it has to do with District 5, not necessarily. It's going to affect this thing with Ms. Young, definitely, but and it needs to be taken into account. There are some things that we as a community need to take a look at, and it's not just District 5, it's us all across the board, across this nation and in this community. We have contractors out there, people who run business, and when we look at infrastructure, we cannot ignore the economics of our community. Cannot ignore that. When we look at that, we have to consider that it cannot be business as usual. I think everybody would agree with me on that. Well, not everybody, but those people who are from the community would have to agree it cannot be business as usual. There's a lot that is very unpredictable right now. There's a lot that is uncertain. And we need to take a hold of those reins and pull them in very hard and begin to determine what it is that we must do differently. We have to pull those reins in. We have to determine what it is now that we have to do differently in terms of economics. Sure, there are those of us who are doing well, but how long is that going to last? In these unpredictable times, how long is that really going to last? And so we have to make certain that we are doing everything that we can, as I always say on this show, to do for self, do for our own community. We cannot continue to depend on these resources that are, how when you were a kid, somebody would play around with you, they hold a piece of candy in front of you or whatever, a toy or whatever in front of you, and they dangle and then they pull it back. See, that's the game that's being played with us right now.
Absolutely.
And it's been played with us consistently for generations, not just for decades, but for generations. So at some point, we have to grow up and begin to look at our economics and take it very, very seriously and begin to put a new face to our economics now. Right? Take control of it and put a new face on our economics. Who do we do business with? Who? Certainly with ourselves, of course. How do we keep that dollar within our community? Right? The most dependable thing I can think of would be to, and you know what I'm about to say, is to look to the diaspora and to also look to Africa. I truly believe it. I've seen it happen, and it works. It does work. There are some situations where this had some things that didn't work out too well, but I don't think that we've done enough work with Africa or established enough of a relationship there in order to determine just how badly something might turn out or how well something might turn out. It's worth a shot. I think it's certainly worth a shot. And we've seen enough success there that
we would that we would be or could believe very easy, just like anything else, and with anybody else, that we can do well. Maybe are there any phone calls out there?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I bet so. I bet. But let's say you, Forum. What say you? I want to hear this one.
All right. Go ahead, caller. You're on the Sunday Forum. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very interesting you brought that up. I wanted to point out something that, on the 22nd, there's two things. On the 20th through the 22nd, there's the G20 conference in Johannesburg. And it's very interesting that conference, these are the economic powerhouses, and the United States, in fact, Mr. Trump has pulled all of the United States delegation out of that particular conference. And Representative J.D. Vance is supposed to go down. You can pull this stuff up. And so they will not be. And then the president, I think it's Milei from Argentina, he too also pulled out of the conference. Now, China is sending a representative, but Xi Jinping will not. President Xi won't be there, but they are going to send a delegation. And there's something else that's interesting. Why we're talking about economics? Because I follow some of the South African news, and I'm sure Walter's very familiar with the Oliver Tambo Airport in Johannesburg and stuff. All of a sudden, for the past couple of weeks, or better way, the what's happening peculiar is that the Gaza, the Israelis are liquidating Palestine, the Palestinians, and one of the things they're doing is that these people are being put on planes, and you can pull this stuff up, man, and being sent to South Africa. And they're arriving at the Oliver Tambo Airport. And hundreds of people, they said they were, are being picked up by folks, and they didn't have any destination, put on planes coming from Kenya to, what they do is they fly them to Kenya, and then from Kenya they go straight to Johannesburg. Thousands of Palestinians are being done like this. This is the systematic. And like I said, pull this stuff because President Ramaphosa spoke out about this activity, and I hear very little. These people come in and they don't know where they are. They said all their possessions have been taken from them. They don't even bring hygiene or equipment. They just stole it. They've just put on these planes and flown to Southern Africa. And so, because I came across this as a result of looking at the G20 summit, and I saw where President Ramaphosa had come to Oliver Tambo Airport and started speaking out about it, and very little about this is mentioned. So, it's very peculiar as to, not peculiar, but it's very interesting that on one hand you have the conference, the G20 conference, being boycotted by the United States on the basis that Afrikaners' property are being taken from them, when in fact that's not the case, and it has never been the case. In fact, it's been the other way around, and we have that fictitious notion that we're going to that's going on, and yet we have people who are from the West Bank and from Gaza itself that have been there for centuries, being put on planes and then shipped to South Africa, and no one in the world is saying anything about it. And these planes just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. And who's sponsoring them? Or who's putting their money behind this type of operation? So I just wanted to bring that out and stuff that, and there is, and you and I have been to Africa before, there is a lot of development that we can engage in terms of our medical and that sort of thing, and intellect, and your father was active in that too, that connection. So I just want to put that out there and not scare anybody.
All right, appreciate that.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you said that. That's one of the things that that we need to keep in mind as we look at doing for self is, I saw this discussion between Europeans and Europeans and Africans, and one of the things that was brought up was, it's interesting to me that you guys can come in and out of Africa the way you want to, but when we try to go to Europe, just a vacation. You take all of our resources, but when we try to go there to Europe, just a vacation, we got to go through all these this bureaucracy. Where's the equity there?
There is none. I mean, these white countries are sending migrants all over the world because they can, and this, right. There are people going to Ghana from the United States, they don't care about people's humanity right now. The problem is us when we don't stand up and fight back, and maybe these elections will be the beginning of the fight back, but, all of these things are relative because, we talk about doing business, we could do, if you're a farmer, or you could do business by selling coffee or importing or exporting coffee, but you start that kind of export, one of the, some of the top coffee producers are Brazil. That's a hugely African descendant country we could be doing business with. But even on the question of chocolate, cocoa, you could do business with Cote d'Ivoire or Ghana. 6% of the world's cocoa come from those two places. And if we start doing that, you're going to run into tariff problems until these people stop playing with the world economy just because they can. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why people are stifled right now in the global economy. It's not just us going outward. It's these, people trying to do business here with us at, all levels, not just at the higher levels of the economy. But it's getting more and more difficult, more and more uncertainty for as long as we allow these type policies like the tariffs to continue to fester. That's why a lot of people are having a hard time doing business. That's why a lot of people are having a hard time making ends meet inside this country. We have migrants that have been thrown out of Florida. Well, that's why the construction industry is having a hard time. All of these things are relative.
Well, yeah, you're right. They are very relative. However, what's the solution? How do we deal with that? Right? How do we deal with that? At some point, I think that we need to consider that we need to go over there. We need to go over there.
Yeah, but they still have to.
Go over there, go.
It's still about global trade. They still have to trade, right? Whether we leave here, at least we're here as a potential, as a diaspora to trade. You know what I'm saying? Right. And we need to organize ourselves in the communes and the co-ops in order to do that, because that's the only way we can compete with these big agribusinesses that can just buy us out as soon as we start doing good. You know what I'm saying? That's how it works.
That's right. So there's a lot to consider. But I think that we got to get started. Right? We got to take the first step.
I think. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
You recommend?
I think. I think honestly, because there's so much going on right now, a lot of individuals that's new to trying to become independent and have their own business in the import-export world, they're kind of leery because one, what's going on with the tariffs. Two, you at some point put a target on yourself when you start for the first time traveling to these different countries. So in my opinion, and I'm speaking for myself as well, because I was thinking about doing the same thing. I said, well, I'm going to start online first and build up, a footprint. interacting, with trading and whatnot. And I'm not speaking of crypto or anything like that. I'm speaking of an actual product, like I said, coffee beans or whatever it may be that we're making reference to. But going over there immediately and speaking to people about doing it, I can see the caution there because I'm cautious of it myself. Because, again, you're at that point, you are now putting yourself out there. You're putting that footprint of you going to other countries and these kind of things. And with the way our government is right now, it's being very, very much so scrutinized. So they're looking at you for every little thing. So I can understand the concerns and caution in regards to that. But even if you're not ready to do that, you can still start something else locally or, again, online or something. But we do need to be independent and not depend on a $2,000 check or whatever else the government's saying they want to give to you. The other part we have to pay attention to, not just for the global part of us making money, becoming independent, those that are on fixed income, we did this Medicare and things to that effect, and them thinking it's $2,000 check, we all know, again, it's not going to do but so much. I think they should become independent as well. But it's hard because every time you try to step up, they push that goalpost even further back. There's more requirements, and then they take from you more than you make. So all of these things are concerns that's going through individual minds, our listeners, and it's hard. So that's why I'm saying the legacy part that we need to continue to embed into our children, into our lives for those that are 40 and 50 and going up, or even 20 and 30 and going up, however. You need to make sure you're understanding the importance of the economics, understand the importance of managing money, and understand the importance of how you can get from point A to point B without losing what you already had, especially for those that's on that fixed income. It's like that catch-22 that they did to us, all Americans. If you're married, you have that joint income, right? But when you get to a certain age and you're not married, so you're 75, you're 60, whatever the case may be, and you get married, now your incomes are joint, but guess what? You were barely making on a single income as it is. So now your income supposed to join, you're supposed to make it better, but then they can reduce the amount of funds that you receive because they're looking at your whole household thing. It's so messed up the way the government has us set up that no matter how far you get, unless you come from money, you're going to always be a step behind to a certain degree. So the concerns that we have, and me personally, again, I have that I see how I can help people improve their lives, but the same token, I do understand where their cost is at because as you're trying to get up, they're trying to find another way to hold you down.
What's new? What's new?
Exactly.
What's
exactly.
new? So yeah, don't. If you're listening to what we're saying right now, we're talking about doing for self and doing business overseas in Africa from our community here as alternatives to the crumbs that we're getting here in the United States. We talk about this constantly on this show, and I'm telling you now, like what Ms. Annie is saying is very true, obviously. But what's new? What's new? The difficulty is not new. So we got difficulty. How do we get past the difficulty? Right? How do we get past the difficulty? I think that's where we need to really take a look at this and begin to function. Mm-hmm. Begin to function. If we don't start now, it's going to be a whole nother generation before we even get, at least 2 generations maybe before we even get anything going.
And you have that saying, scared money don't make no money. So
that's right.
you have to invest something to get something. Yeah, scared money don't make no money.
I'm trying to tell you, these guys didn't make. Listen, and I'm sure we got calls on the line. We're going to go to the calls just steady. But listen, let me tell you something. When those guys in the early years, when those guys put together things like McDonald's is a matter of real estate. It's not a matter of money. It's a matter of real estate. Not money, I'm sorry. It's not a matter of food. It's a matter of real estate. Everywhere you look, there's a daggone McDonald's. Sometimes you got McDonald's, 2 McDonald's on the same daggone block. Mm-hmm. On the same city block, you have 2 McDonald's. That's not unusual. Walgreens, same thing. There's a plan. There's a marketing plan. You mean tell me we can't come up with a marketing plan? Is that what we're saying? Is that what we're doing here? Are we going to subject ourselves to that kind of verdict about our economy, our own economics, in our own community, with our own pockets, our own bank? Come on, man.
I mean, you must know that we have a long history of this. You know, it's not like it's not being done. This is part of our legacy. Entrepreneurial spirit, finding ways to operate against all odds in an economy that is designed against us. Look at the sharecropping economy. You know, so we've got a long history of this, and we know what to do. But there's always going to be obstacles. I mean, we got it's always going to be a learning curve. I mean, we have to know before we go to the continent, for instance, how land is controlled on the continent. It's not like here. We take our ideas from here and try to transport them over there. No, we can't do that. Land here is different from land there. Is owned by ethnic groups. Is owned by centuries of ownership, you know, and they have a history of outsiders like Europeans and even Europeans with black faces, sometimes Americans who act like the same colonialists who've gone there and exploited them. So, I mean, they have a long history of that as well. But it isn't like we don't know what the deal is or what our priority should be. We all know that everything we try to do is political. And there's going to be those who are going to try to stop and block our progress, our ideas, or even go if we are successful and take advantage of it, buy us out or price us out, try to, you know, conspire against us with ethnic groups that they know own the land to take it out from under you. There are a lot of us who've gone over there unprepared to know because we didn't do the work and the study before we went. There's so much of a learning curve, especially from us, because of the way white racism have done a lot to push self-hatred and especially our ignorances of the continent. We have a lot to learn.
That's a very important fact, Lily. That's so important because you need to know what part of the continent to go to. You know, Ghana, Ethiopia. You need to know all those different factors before you go to start doing business over there. Because again, you don't know what you're walking into. So doing the research and your due diligence is very important. I agree with that 100%. Lily. Yeah,
absolutely. Exactly. And until we start being ignorant of those things, we're going to continue doing what we're doing. We got to get out of this thing of only doing what we know and just we have to move in new dimensions. Even our organizations have got to begin to consider new directions. Even. We got to.
But I think we always do. Okay, 813-239-9663 in the last few minutes. This is the Sunday Forum. Go ahead, caller. You're on. You say, what's your name?
Hey, I didn't want to call back, man, but I wanted to say something here. You know, one of the mindsets behind the G620 summit boycott was that these countries were arguing for universal health care. And we're debating and equity, and that's what the Trump administration opposed. And so it tells you the mindset of the type of people that you're dealing with. And of course, I'm going back when we talk about what we need to do. Well, we've done that. I mean, I call what has happened to us, and a lot of in this country and throughout the world is what I call a process which we identified called Tulsification. I mean, the very thing that things that have made us successful in our community are and in the development of our community are somehow then come under attack or come under a scrutiny, and our businesses are undermined. And what it does is affect generational. The rules are changed so that generational wealth is never transpiring. So we're finding ourselves in this endless cycle. And the other notion that what we should do. Well, I mean, if we look at a population that's here from India. I mean, people are here from India, and they do business, or Nigeria. They do business, try to do business back and forth between the old country and this country and things like that. Well, that's fine and good, but our struggle has been that what we were brought here and disconnected. And when we do, like I said, get connected, we've always ran into, like you said, some sort of resistance. So it's not that we haven't done these things. It's just that a lot of our efforts and our businesses, generationally been strategically targeted and undermined. I just want to give you an example. Right now, we have we talk about training physicians and dentists and pharmacists and those sort of things, and yet we have a study that shows almost 2,800 black physicians and pharmacists that are in prison right now, federal prison right now. And no one really talks about these people have been systematically removed. Now, I talk to people all the time who've been through this process, and it's something that's strategically and uniquely, and the type of people who get targeted are the folks who are the ones who are highly specialized, highly trained neurologists and those sorts of. That's just one example. So,
and that's a good example of even services that can go overseas and that can make money and that can survive over there. But we should do it. We need to export health care. So we got other calls that we got to take on. So all right, thanks, Don. We appreciate it.
All right, go ahead, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, go ahead. Yeah, you're on.
Okay, this is Eduardo.
Hey.
Hey, Eduardo.
Good morning.
Yeah, how's it going? Thank you for taking my call here at the end here. Just came out of church service. I'm glad. I don't know if we're going to be off. I'm going to be off topic here, but I'm glad the government is back open here, and because I'm going to be flying in a couple of weeks, and it's unfortunate the icing is going to continue. They're going into Charlotte and New Orleans, so let's pray for the best. They should only be getting criminals and not putting everybody under that net, because there's people that will not do some of these jobs, and we need these people. So this, if we had the, obviously work program here with the foreigners, maybe this wouldn't be happening. But hopefully that's going to be back in place sometime in the future.
Right. I mean, open back up to what is what I'm still questioning, because if he was firing people before the shutdown, now that we're back open, he's going to go back to firing people.
And we're getting $2,000 from a tariff that should have never been in there. That's what was being talked about even on conservative radio. Even the hosts were pointing that out.
Right.
You reworked the Canada deal yourself, and now you're trying to rework it again. So.
Right. It's all just transactions.
We said it earlier on the show. He's walking back tariffs now. And I'm going to give everybody $2,000. Come on.
Yeah.
A tariff dividend.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
Like he's the hero of the saving the day crisis that he started.
Right. Mm-hmm. He's going to put his name on the check like he wanted to do on everything. So, anyway. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right. Have a good week, everyone. Thank you.
You too.
Now. Next call.
Yeah, we're getting close. We do want to reiterate, though, the MLK information that we were given today. Jerome Ryans with the Housing Authority. It's going to be a grand marshal on the parade, MLK parade, January 19th next year. And it's going to be event on January 8th, the gala on January 8th at Armature Works. A lot of people are going to be rewarded as heroes. So that's the information we're going to have on our website.
That's right. Heroes, boy.
Yeah.
Hey, man, listen, I'm really, really glad that we had such a great show today. This discussion is something that can go on and on and on. But it's a discussion that needs to be had. It's a discussion that needs to be had. And it's not something that is devoid of the need just because we're talking about Africa, you know, we need to get out of that mindset. That, you know, I can't say it enough. There's a reason why the rest of the world is heading to Africa and trying to go into Africa, and we're missing out. We're missing out if we don't begin to restructure what we're doing here and get ourselves together here, and then move on over there and do what we need to do business there. We can do it. It's not impossible. But hey, listen, I'm glad everybody came and joined us today for this episode of the Sunday Forum. Join us again next week for the Sunday Forum. We're going to have another great show. Thank the Fourth Estate crew for their research and everything they do. We appreciate you guys. And as always, from my voice to the radio waves to the hearts and the minds of the people, we love you. There's not a thing you can do about it here on the Sunday Forum. Up next is a postmodern Martin
We make it do what it do.
Yes. This has been the Sunday Forum here on WMNF Tampa. Stay tuned for the Post Martin Hootenanny after news update from National Public Radio.